cybersecurity conference that the Agency for Electronic Communications and the National Center for Computer Incident Response is organizing. This one we have support from the Regional Cooperation Council. We are glad that you all accepted the invitation to be part of this event. Without further delay, I would like to invite His Excellency Mr. Damian Manchevski, Minister of Information, for Information Society and Administration, to the speaker stand.
Morning, dear hosts, dear ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here in Ohrid at the annual cybersecurity conference hosted by the Macedonian National CERT, along with the representatives from regional and our international partners. And in its second iteration, this conference brings together those committed to crafting a better future and exchanging ideas and sharing best practices from across Western Balkans, but also across the world. Information technologies are developing at an unprecedented pace, and trends in these fields change every day. Objects are becoming more connected with each other with the concept of the Internet of Things. The IoT refers to billions of physical devices around the world that are now connected to the Internet, collecting and also sharing data. Therefore, the data security is crucial for the people, for the companies, and for the countries. At the same time, we're all aware that the cyberspace does not have physical borders. As nations, we do not have a territory that we're committed to protect. The cyberspace is shared by global citizens, public administrations, businesses, civil societies, international organizations, but also malicious users and criminal organizations. On a daily basis, we're facing challenges. Thus, it is our mutual responsibility to play fair and protect all processes and most vulnerable data and resources. We need to prevent cybercrime. This is why regional and international cooperation and alignment is essential. This being said, I'm a strong advocate of sharing good practices and experiences with our regional and international partners. On the doorstep of NATO and soon the European Union, North Macedonia is becoming an ever more attractive target for cybercrime. Naturally, cybersecurity became one of the key priorities for the government. The combination of strong political will and prioritization of cybersecurity capacity building with the support from our strategic partners resulted in momentous results in the past year. From then onwards, the cybersecurity landscape improved significantly. In the forefront of the national cybersecurity in North Macedonia are the Ministry of Information Society Administration, the Ministry of Interior, and the Ministry of Defense, and of course the MKD CERT. A national expert level group has been established, and you will hear more about their efforts in the presentation later today. In line with our multi-stakeholder approach, we're continuously improving engagement with the private sector, with the civil society, and the international community. Against the sporadic and ad hoc activities conducted at organizational or institutional level in the past, at the beginning of 2018, we established a clear and strategic vision for cybersecurity capacity building in North Macedonia. Capitalizing on the cybersecurity capacity review we conducted in cooperation with the World Bank and the University of Oxford, as well as the national analysis, the National Cybersecurity Strategy and Action Plan for 2018 until 2022 has been developed. Both were adopted by the government in 2018. The strategy and the action plan were developed not only with the support of international partners and the European Commission, but also in a process of public consultations. As a government, we're committed to transparency and involvement of all sectors of the society. In this manner, the contents of the strategy and the action plan have been subject to a public debate where representatives from the public, private, the civil society sector, academia had the opportunity to provide comments and suggestions. This willingness from our side for capacity building has been complemented with strong multi-stakeholder cooperation, where each organization coming from different sectors of society was engaged in reviewing the content, but also providing their experience and expertise. Let me use this opportunity to thank all the experts and stakeholders who provided their contributions, without, have to say, asking for anything. It was a sincere devotion to contribute to the well-being of the citizens of their country. By setting a strategic vision and practical activities for the implementation of the defined actions, we're continuing on the path towards building an open, safe, and secure cyberspace. The National Cybersecurity Strategy and the Action Plan focuses on strategic level decision-making, implementation of activities on operational level, as well as definition and protection of the critical information infrastructure. The strategic level decision-making means establishing a National Council for ICT and Cybersecurity in order to enforce decisions at the highest level. The operational level means establishing a body for operational cybersecurity capacities within the existing institutional setting for operational implementation of the activities from the action plan. And at the end, the critical information infrastructure means defining and protecting the national critical information infrastructure. Having a solid cybersecurity culture is one of the foundations of an open, safe, and secure cyberspace. Hence, raising the awareness about cybersecurity threats and promoting cybersecurity among citizens and organizations through education and sharing of good practices has been a vital element of the National Cybersecurity Strategy. Cybersecurity awareness-raising campaigns and public engagement with different stakeholders were implemented by different institutions and supporting organizations. In fact, part of these activities were implemented by the MKD CERT during the European Cybersecurity Month in October 2018. In addition to the strategic direction and building a strong cybersecurity culture, new defense and security measures are being redefined on strategic level. At the center of our national cybersecurity efforts and initiative is the National Center for Computer Incident Response, the MKD CERT. Having a strong CERT is the foundation of building the open, safe, and secure cyberspace. It is the precondition for interrupted flow of communication, transactions, public services, private sector, and social engagements. This is why it is essential to invest in equipping our people and building a strong knowledge base in the field of cybersecurity. And in this manner, the Ministry of Information Society Administration has strong cooperation with the MKD CERT in the preparation of its program and budget. CERT teams, as organizational units leading the improvement of the information security standards, have great influence for the cybersecurity awareness of the information systems. Throughout the world, public service systems, public administrations, banking, education, and commerce are already digitized. Security is not only a question of the systems, but of the society as a whole. Human capacities, training, speed, and efficiency in the response depends largely on the overall functioning operations and security. On a national level, we recognize the need to invest in equipping our people, the civil servants, but also our industry with the necessary skills and capacity. Especially the MKD CERT, as the national coordinating body for the reporting and management of cybersecurity incidents for the authorities and the public sector institutions. In Western Balkans, we still have political issues. But since the establishment of the multi-annual action plan of the regional economic area under the auspices of the Berlin Process countries, and with the strong support of the European Union, we also started strong regional cooperation. One of the most logical areas for cooperation is the cybersecurity capacity building. All of our countries are too small to invest separately in strong cybersecurity capacities. and we need to work together. This is why we proposed to establish the Regional Cybersecurity Training and Research Center in Skopje. We're in the middle of an assessment of the organizational and financial resources. The European Commission is also committed, together with the Regional Council for Cooperation, to establish the center which will be able to rapidly train and retrain employees into the public institutions who are unfortunately often leaving the public sector. The proposed concept for the Regional Cybersecurity Training and Research Center would fit within the Science and Technology Park in Skopje, located, and would cover professional training, which means training center for public administration officers and critical infrastructure owners from the Western Balkan 6, academic research, which means academic cooperation and joint collaboration of the scholars from Western Balkan 6, and in the end, and the Technology Park to stimulate innovation, entrepreneurship, and economic growth, and serve as a major regional hub for the cybersecurity startup community. With this initiative, we aim to encourage public-private cooperation and EU-wide approaches to cybersecurity, focusing on research and innovation in the field of cybersecurity. By this, we will not only strengthen our cybersecurity capacities, but we will encourage young entrepreneurs and technology enthusiasts to develop and test technologies to better protect users and infrastructures against cybersecurity threats. In the process of the mapping global cybersecurity capacity building projects, it encourages me to think that we are contributing to creating a shared global vision with the support of the international community and our cross-border partners. I'm happy to welcome you all again here in North Macedonia and wish you a very successful conference and also enjoyable stay here in Ohrid. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister, for your speech. Now I would like to invite Mr. Sasho Dimitrievski, Director of the Agency for Electronic Communications, to the speaker stand.
Good morning, everyone. Dear Minister, Mr. Damian Manchevski, dear guests, dear colleagues, on behalf of the Agency for Electronic Communications and the National Center for Computer Incident Response, I would like to welcome you to the second Cyber Security Conference that we are organizing here in Ohrid. Organizing this event is a part of our commitment to improve the regional cooperation in the field of cybersecurity, and we are thankful to all national cyber incident response teams that accepted to be part of the conference, as well as to the experts of the representatives from international organizations willing to share with us their activities and cybersecurity efforts. The National Center for Computer Incident Response, which is the national CERT in Macedonia, is formed within the agency as organizational unit and performs the following activities. First, official national point for contact and coordination in dealing with security incidents in networks and information systems. Second, identification and response to security incidents and risk. And the last one is coordination of the response to threats and attacks to the national level. This year's conference is dedicated to CERTs, cyber resilience and protection of critical infrastructure. We choose these topics because of their importance for our country, as well as for the region and globally. Until recently, national and government cyber activities have focused on protecting information, operations, and assets against intrusions from cyber threats. Although this security-driven focus has had beneficial effects, the cyber threat landscape is moving at a far greater velocity with a far larger threat landscape and is growing more complex than any organization can keep pace with. We must now admit that absolute cybersecurity is absolutely impossible. The issue is not whether our defenses will be breached, but when they will be. This is why we must shift from a reactive approach to a more proactive one. we must place far more attention towards making our systems and network resilient, that is being able to continuously deliver the intended outcome despite adverse cyber events. Despite these challenges of the current lack of legislation, the Center has established a national network for coordination and response to cyber incidents in which more than 50 organizations from the government and public sector and critical infrastructure operators are members. The adoption of cybersecurity strategy and the action plan in which we are actively involved demonstrate our commitment to be a constructive factor in the national cybersecurity framework. In this direction, our activities this year focus on the identification of critical information infrastructure as well as readiness for active contribution in the preparation of new legal solutions for cybersecurity and critical infrastructure. This year, the Center introduces new services that we hope will continue the positive trend of confidence building with the constituents and will help in increased resilience of their networks and systems. We are announcing new system for analyzing harmful software and sharing threat information that will be available in the fourth quarter of this year. Internationally, the agency and the Center are continuously working to strengthen the cooperation with other national CERT, both in the region and internationally. In this direction is the organization of this event. The National CERT is accredited member of Trusted Introducer, and this year we will submit an application for membership in the world's largest family of CERT teams, which is FIRST. This event also includes sessions dedicated to CERT activities and discussions on ways for improved cooperation with focus on the Western Balkans region. For this, we acknowledge and appreciate the support from international organizations including ITU, European Commission, Regional Cooperation Council, and DCAF. They are also committed in supporting us in building human capacity and building cooperation networks. At this event, we will have a unique opportunity to get to know the activities of these international organizations and the values that they create in the continuous struggle for better cybersecurity and resilience. In order to better exchange information at this conference, we will have sessions on information exchange and threat intelligence. In this way, the conference, the possibilities for regional and international cooperation will be discussed not only from the organizational aspect, but also from the practical aspect and daily information exchange activities. Opportunities for collaboration and capacity building organized by international organizations such as ITU are of great importance and help for all countries in the region. We can now announce that 2020 ITU Europe Cyber Drill for Europe region will be next June in Skopje, organized by MKD CERT. At this event, we will have a unique opportunity to get to know the activities of these international organizations and the values that they create in continuous struggle for better cybersecurity and resilience. The first goal we laid down with the organization of this conference has already been achieved. Today at this event we have representatives from national CERT teams from the region, representatives of some of the largest international organizations working on cybersecurity issues and dealing with cyber incidents in the world. We are glad that we also have experts from the private cybersecurity companies as well as representatives from the public and government sectors and from critical infrastructure sectors in countries. We hope that this event will contribute to development of the network for cooperation and exchange of information among all stakeholders. We also hope that this conference will offer ideas for further closer cooperation between the countries in the region and new possibilities for private-public partnership. Again, thank you all for accepting to be part of this conference, and I wish you successful work these 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dimitrievski. I would like now to invite you all for a group photo at the front entrance of the hotel, and after that we will have a coffee break for half an hour. So the first session of the conference should start at 10:15.